Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Monster of the Week Pine Lake. We are a player short this session, but we will soldier on and hope nothing too bad happens to Dot while she's not here with someone to advocate for her. But who knows? Nobody's safe. So we'll see. If this is the first.
After our last session, it's entirely possible she's just grounded for this whole episode. So
yeah, that's quite possible. That's quite possible. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, go back to the beginning, watch the first one, and then see if you make it this far again. But we will get going. So maybe, Will, do you want to do a brief recap? You're usually the one with the notes.
Yeah. So the team split up. Me and Joss went into the woods and discovered more of the trail leading back to the school. We followed that trail down into the basement of the school, where we noted that all of the pipes had been broken and that something was making like a lair down there. Meanwhile, over at the hospital, the other two investigated the body of Brooke Johnson and discovered that it was strangely cold, that it had been cut apart by teeth and claws. It was in literal pieces. And while Pat was investigating it, a strange eldritch chill came over the air. The doctor there, who appeared to get supernaturally confused by the events and put into a sort of trance, just as Dot was trying to convince him that everything was okay. And then the body parts stitched themselves back together, reanimated, and then broke their way out of the refrigerator that Pat locked her in. They evacuated the doctor and then tried to evacuate the hospital as the reanimated corpse tried to pursue them up the stairs, and rolled a lot of 7 to 9s on their attempts to do so, and a few misses. Dot pulled a pistol to deter the security guard from going back down the stairs, rapidly escalating things to probably the highest level. And where we last left off, the chief doctor, or the chief administrator of the hospital, I believe it was arguing with Pat about, like, I can't evacuate the hospital. What's its threat? As something banged its way up the stairs towards them. While the security guard was probably hands up looking at Dot and going, I'm going to tell your father about this young lady. And so, yeah, that was where it was. I think that was the last scene, was the thing coming closer up the stairs to Pat.
Kind of left on a cliffhanger last time, yeah.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Joss and Lyle moving closer towards something banging in the basement of the school. And that was last session.
Yeah. So that was Charlie, the head nurse, and Mrs. Strong is her name, I believe.
Charlie's
head. She's the head physician / administrator. Like she's the boss of the hospital. It's a small hospital. She pulls double duty there. Yeah. So I think we'll start with Pat, actually. So you and Dr. Strong are standing at the top of the stairs. You hear this shuffling sound around the bend. Dot and Charlie are standing back, and Dr. Strong you said you told her, strange things goes on in this town. She was not surprised at that, but she also wouldn't just accept a 17-year-old's word for it that she had to evacuate the hospital. So you're standing at the top of the stairs. You hear this shuffling, this thing moving up the stairs, and when it rounds the corner, it's still Brooke's corpse, like filled up with ice where the flesh was missing. It's kind of shambling. It's bumping into the walls, and it moves its head, but not in a way like it's seeing. It doesn't seem to be using its eyes, but it seems to sense the two of you at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, our heat, I suspect, is what it probably is cluing in on. And so I turn to the doctor and I say, and I kind of throw my hands up and I say, "Is that evidence enough for you?" And then, I kind of like, step in between her and the thing, and get ready to, like, as it's shambling up the stairs, kick it in the face as it's coming towards us. So I feel like this is the protect someone move. I want to keep her from getting hurt and let her get away. So
absolutely. So she like takes a step back. This thing launches itself up. It's suddenly moving, not with any agility, but forcefully. It's like 3 steps and it's up the whole flight of stairs. And you can see that because you stabbed it in the neck with your knife before, and its head is kind of crooked. It's still frozen, but there is like a big chunk of ice missing, or icy flesh missing in its neck. So you have really damaged it.
Yeah, and we see that thing where like there's a kind of like a kind of click swish, and he's and he's got that butter knife out, flying knife out again, but kind of in a kind of reverse grip, and like just sort of like slashing at it as it lunges towards. Like, I'm not trying to jump on it and stab at it or anything, fighting very defensively to try and get the doctor out of here. So I'm going to be rolling with tough because this is protect someone. So I've got a +2 here. And let me make sure I've got a ancient fighting arts. This also just when using an old-fashioned hand weapon, I inflict +1 harm and get +1 whenever I roll protect someone. So I'm going to be rolling at +3 instead of my regular +2 for tough. Like I said, but like this is just to keep it off for fighting very defensively. So let's see what happens here. So this is protect the doctor. I'm going to roll that at +3. Protect. And 2 6-siders. That's a 10. That's what we're hoping for. All right. And so on a 10+, when I protect somebody, I can choose on any success, I protect them okay, but I'll suffer some or all of the harm they were going to get. If I get a 10+, I can choose an extra.
And this is 3 harm coming your way.
Yikes. That would put me way into unstable. But you know what? Knocking 1 off doesn't really do anything. So, I will take the 3 harm, but deal my harm back to it, which in this case is going to be 2.
Nice.
And I'm now, and that wound that I took puts me into unstable territory, which means it'll get worse over time if I don't get treatment. So,
well, you are at a hospital, so
yeah. So there we go. What is that? I like. I mean, what is like? Does it claw at me, rip me open? I mean, and I presume it's like I'm getting like instantly frostbitten as I'm like stabbing it with the knife and stuff like that.
Yeah. Most of this is like a bone deep cold, and it's more than like when you put your hand on her on this corpse to push it away. You can feel that it's cold, but that doesn't feel as cold as the cold that your body is taking.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
So it's more. It feels like a supernatural cold, and not just that this actual physical thing is cold. But the pure physical thing, that's just mangled hands scratching at you, and this corpse trying to bite you and kind of pummeling you. But it's not that's just like one harm of this. Most of it is this deep cold.
Got it. And I'm going to inflict 2 back to it, which I think is a total of 4 so far. So I don't know what that. Does it look like I'm hurting it, or what's the?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Right.
So what are you doing with your knife when you or the rest of what you're doing? When
kind of as it's going towards me, like what I'm trying to do is like as I as it it reaches toward me, I kind of like slash to try and like take a couple of fingers off, right? I'm trying to keep just kind of like carve bits out of it, because like it seems like like just stabbing it like prison style doesn't seem like it's going to do that much. But if I can do the like the zombie thing where you like cut its take its hands away to make I'm trying to reduce its ability to hurt us.
Yeah.
The supernatural thing is its own separate thing, but to just protect the doctor to keep it, kind of like I said, carve bits out of it as we go.
Yeah. So what's clear is that this corpse it's pretty brittle, as you would expect from something deeply frozen. So you hack away, you cut a couple of fingers off. You like split one hand down the middle, and half of it falls off, and you push it back against the wall, and it stumbles back, and you hear a crack, and one of its arms falls off. So it's still trying to move forward, but there's not a lot of life left in this thing. Charlie is dragging Dot back, and Dr. Strong is going now. She's pulling the fire alarm and going to the PA system and like evacuate the hospital. So and you can hear like noises starting. It's not a big hospital, but there are a few employees here and a couple of people who are on. A couple of patients here, so and you can hear higher up things are starting to move, but this thing is still on you. You have everyone else is clear. It's just you and it right now. Let's leave you there for the moment and go back to Joss and Lyle. So you are down in this maze-like basement. There's like long corridors and rooms and storage areas. It's not and you have the blueprints, so you know roughly where you are and where things are. You have the boiler room straight ahead. You've just turned a corner, so you can see into there's a long corridor with some rooms going off of it, some doors going off of it, but you can see into the boiler room through the door opening there. So you can't see the whole room, but you can see into the room.
This has been very spectacularly bad timing, because this is when I have to get my brownie out. So I'll be right back.
We'll wait.
I'm advocating going to the boiler room.
Yeah, I'll just give you a few more details once Will is back.
That was literally on the dot as you turned to me. And I was like, I'll wait 5 minutes, it's going to burn.
Yeah. No. We won't interfere with the baking. That's
so from hot kitchen that smelled of lovely chocolate and cinnamon and everything, to a dingy, musty basement that's cold and dilapidated, and we can hear something shambling in front of us.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can see into the boiler room. It's there are these occasional dangling light bulbs from the ceiling. There's none of that in the boiler room, but there is from off to the side. There's a weird, like, cold blue light coming in. It's like we're well into the evening at this point. If it had been winter and earlier in the day, you would have thought that this was like a window standing open or something. It's that kind of winter day light, but it's coming off from the side. You can't see where it's coming from. And hunched in front of the boiler, you see what you think is Miss Horn, the janitor, but she's bundled up in like huge amounts of clothes. She's got a big thick coat on, over what seems to be several layers of clothes under it, because she's so big with clothes. She's got a big like fur hat on with the ear flaps down, and she's working on the boiler with a big wrench, seemingly dismantling it. Like, presumably she's the one who's been taking down the pipes to prevent the heat from spreading around the school. Now she's going for the boiler itself.
I look at Joss, I look at Miss Horn, I shrug my shoulders, and we already did a really bad situation last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I don't want to double up on that move there. I want to... you know what?
Also, worth remembering mechanically that if you act on stuff you learn there, you get a bonus, right? You get +1.
Yeah. You know what? Let's try and creep closer to her, because I think that we'd still get that +1 on that one, because
absolutely.
Yeah. So I go like, I look at Joss, and it's probably in his defend-do like pose, right? And I just go like, and I'm gonna try and creep my way forward. It's probably and I'm like, shh, and I turn around and I go, for sure, really for sure this time, you know. Yeah, let's. I guess that's an act under pressure.
Yeah, that seems fair. We got that extra +1.
Yeah, as an 8.
8, not too bad.
But that'd be a 9. So, given that Joss is probably creeping up with me, if he was to help out, then we could get a 10.
Yeah.
Very well. Let's help out. Wrong. Cool. Here we go. 2d6. I've always got your back, man.
That's a 10.
So I rolled a 4 and a 6. +1 gives me 11. So that will give you a +1 bonus, raising your 9 to a 10.
Nice.
So act under pressure, 10+. You do it. Do what you set out to do.
Yeah. So you sneak up closer, and Miss Horn has... She's turned to the side, like the boiler is off to the left side. This blue light is coming from the right side. She doesn't notice you. You're quiet, and she's like, her vision is restricted by this big fur hat, and she's clearly very focused on the boiler. What you see when you get closer is that on the floor, hog-tied, like her arms and legs up behind her back, is Miss Phelps, the librarian, and she's struggling, but not very very strongly. She has some sort of rag or something stuffed in her mouth, and she's she looks desperate, but also like she's been there a while trying to get loose. She's clearly tired herself out.
Shit, man. Okay, I'm gonna distract her. You get her out of here. I'm gonna like pick my way around, like maybe like the sides of the room, and so I'm sort of like standing, imagine Miss Horn with like a back to us, like in front of the boiler, and then the tied up librarian like to her left, and we're sort of off there, and I'm gonna like edge my way around the room to the right, and then I'm gonna go like, and I'm gonna look at Joss, and then I'm gonna bang on the like the pipe on the wall.
Yeah. Just before that, as you creep into the room, you're focused on Miss Horn, trying to make sure she doesn't spot you. Out of the corner of your eye, you see this blue light. It's coming from a door that's going like, off to the side, and it's a door that is standing open. And you can see a wintry landscape on the other side of the door. There's no way this door could go to the outside, but what you're seeing is outside.
So there's an exit, did you say?
Yeah,
it
shouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it like
it can't exist here?
Yeah.
As in, we're underground.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of course, yes.
There's supposed to be the door. There's nothing strange about the door itself. The door should be there, but it should lead to a storage space. But it's leading to a wintry landscape outside.
I feel like we're not in Kansas anymore. But yeah, I think either way, I'm gonna go. Hey, Horn. Hey. Do you need a hand with the boiler? I got sent down from shop class. They said that you could do something. They said it would be good detention for me.
Yeah. So I think the main thing you two together are trying to achieve here is to get Miss Phelps out of there.
Yes.
So I think Joss is the one who's making the main move, probably, and then you're providing cover and possibly assistance if needed. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, tiny knife clutched behind in my pocket.
Yeah. So, Joss,
you know what? I picked up one of those pipes off the ground, and I'm like,
yeah,
waving it. Like, you need a hand with the boiler? Like,
so Joss, are you like, because now Miss Horn turns towards Lyle. She's focused on him. You have an opening. How do you intend to get Miss Phelps out of here?
Looking at her, she does seem quite a svelte lady. So, and she's tied up. Finding Miss Phelps in heavy bondage is by far better than I thought it could be. I'm going to pick her up and try and run out of the room with her. Yep,
that seems reasonable. So I think that's probably act under pressure at this point, because you're not protecting because she's not like under direct attack. Unless you think there's a different move.
No, I truly think, I need to keep cool here. So I think act under pressure is the right move. Here we go. 2d6 plus 1.
Yeah, and I think you still have the +1 from reading the situation from before.
Didn't need it.
Oh, nice.
Rolled a 5 and a 6. Give me 11 plus 1. Give me 12.
Nice. Yeah. So Miss Horn, she struggles up to her feet, hefting this big wrench. Joss, you sneak in behind her, grab Miss Phelps, and she's not. I mean, she's a fully grown adult, but she's not a huge person. You can lift her, so you get her up. And do you go back the way you came, or do you go forward into the basement, or do you go out through this? I assume you don't want to go out through this wintry door.
Oh no, fuck Narnia. Nothing good happens there, man. No, back the way I came.
Yeah, cool. So Lyle, you see Miss Horn, and she looks, her face looks distorted and haggard, and she has like a feral look over her, and she doesn't answer you. She just grabs this big wrench, and she's coming after you with it. But you can see out of the corner of your eye, you see Joss grab Miss Phelps and carry her out of there. So you need to keep Miss Horn distracted for a little while longer, and then you can all probably get out of here if that's what you want. So what do you do?
I mean, is Joss going to grab her and run?
Yeah, Joss has grabbed Miss Phelps. He's
okay.
on the way up.
Miss Horn is so like Miss Horn is just staring creepily at me.
No, she's raising her wrench and going at you.
Sorry, spanner. Will she has a spanner that
Right.
she's coming
okay.
with.
I'm going to throw my lead pipe at her and run.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I think it's probably more of an act under pressure than a kick some ass, because I'm not actually trying to exchange. I'm just trying to get out of there as well, you know.
So yeah, your main objective is just to distract her long enough that you can get out, not actually trying to fight her.
Yeah, and if we can run through a door that we can then bar behind us is the idea, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so act under pressure sounds good for that.
As a 7.
A 7. So
can I propose a hard choice?
Yeah, absolutely.
That Miss Horn gets in between me and the exit that Joss has just run through, and therefore the only exit I can go through is that door to Winter. It's either take on Miss Horn or go through the door to Winter.
Yeah, that seems fair. But
run, Joss! Run! And I step back and then turn on my heels and just run. And I grab that door and I slam it shut behind me.
Ooh. Nice. Yeah, I think that's when we cut back to Pat. So, yeah, Brooks' corpse still up and moving, but definitely damaged. If you get another hit on it, that's probably going to be enough to shatter it.
Yeah, all right. I see it staggering and stuff like this, and you know, this is probably going to hurt. I know it's going to hurt, but you know, as it comes towards me, I've, you know, like I think I see the opening, and I go in there, and I'm just gonna, like, you know, like I said, I've got that knife spun around, and I'm just gonna try and, you know, like get it in the eyes, just kind of, you know, see if I can't, you know, and you know, shove the knife in, stir it around, and see if I can't, de-zombify it somehow, as best I can. So I'm gonna kick some ass here, I think is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I do get my bonus damage, I think, but I don't get. Oh well, let me see. Do I get the bonus damage? The wording on that move is
you inflict +1 harm and get +1 whenever you roll to protect someone. So you're still getting the +1 harm, but you don't get the.
Got it, but I don't get the bonus on the roll. Cool. All right. Okay. Yeah. I thought that's how that's the more generous way to read that. So
that's how I read it.
I appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, get in there and just, you know, stab away. Like I said, now that it seems like it's on its last legs here. So, kick ass. And that is going to be a 9. Let me take a look at what my what our 7 and 9 is here. On any success, you and whatever you're fighting inflict harm on each other.
Yeah, and since you've gone after its hands and such, it's only doing 2 harm now, but I think that's still pretty bad for you.
There we go. There we go. That tops out my harm. That's just short of putting me into dying. Because when you get your 8th, that's when you're it takes you down and you're either dead or or dying and have to receive. As it is, I need immediate medical care. But yeah, I think I get it. It comes at me, and like I said, I get in there and I'm like shoving the knife in its face as it's clawing at me, and I'm feeling like my fingers going numb, and I think my blue tinted freezing hands drop away from it, and I've just got to drop and kind of collapse and sort of feebly try to get myself back up to the stairs, but whatever last bit I did,
so your knife goes into the skull of this thing, and it starts to stagger backwards and then just falls down the stairs.
Yeah, there we go. That's perfect. A crash and a crunch and bits of it snapping off as it hits the railings as it goes down in there.
And then when it lands, it just shatters into tiny pieces.
And I'm on my back and I look up at her and I just say, "May I have a blanket, please?" And then I pass out.
Let's go back to Lyle and Joss. So Joss, Lyle told you to just run. Do you do that? You've got Miss Phelps. You're pretty sure you can get out of the basement before Miss Horn can catch up to you. You're muted.
Oh, 100%. Protect the innocent. Lyle can look after himself.
Yeah, so you get up the stairs. It's not easy, like carrying a full person, but you do get up. What do you do when you're up? This is like a big, heavy metal door down to the basement. Do you just slam it and get out of the school? Do you try to free Miss Phelps? What do you do?
I think once we've gone past the sort of entrance to the underground janitorial area, I think I will put Phelps down and I'll start undoing her bindings and say, "What the hell, Phelps? What happened to you?"
And she's like rubbing her. She tries to stand, but like clearly her blood flow has been.
I'll let her fall into me. No hassle there.
Yeah, she is borderline hysterical. Like, just we have to get out of here. She's gone crazy. You have to help me. And trying to like rub life back into her hands and feet.
What the hell did Horn do? The winter janitor? Who the hell would have thought?
I have no idea. And she's just struggling to get away from there. Not rejecting your help, but like if you're not,
she wants out.
Rushing out of there, she's like pulling on you too.
Call the authorities. This needs to be stopped. Phelps.
We'll find a phone. We just have to get out of here.
Go and find a payphone or something. Find the headmaster.
Well, it's fairly late now. You're not sure if how many people are still left in the school. Could be someone over in the offices that's kind of on the other side of the school. But you can try to get there. Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to send her off to get some assistance. I think she should be okay at that, and I'm going to attempt to go back into the janitor's lair.
Cool. Yeah, she's. I think is there a move for this? I think you need to roll and manipulate here to get her to do what you want, because she's just set on getting out of here. She's barely coherent.
Sure. Manipulate a keeper's character. Roll plus charm. Well, that's not too bad. 8. Hey, I can much better than that.
They'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. If you ask too much, yeah, I think showing that you intend to go back into the basement, which she will read as, oh, he will draw Horn's attention. She's not coming after me. That's enough that's enough to get her to go run for help instead of just run.
Superb.
Cool. So you open the door down into the basement. You can't really hear anything. You can see down the stairs. You can't see Horn right there. So you're not sure what's going on down there. It's dark. You got this like swaying single light bulb at the landing down the stairs.
I'm just looking to see if there's any good alternate weird moves. I don't really think so.
You picked one for that?
I've got trust your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that applies here now.
Really. Cool. Well, that's if I had understood that correctly, that's the one you picked for your character. So that's,
yeah. But I don't think I can really roll that again now.
Okay. You could try to read a bad situation.
Yeah. Let's do that. Read a bad situation. I'm pretty good at that. Let's see how that goes. 11.
Nice. So you rolled 3.
What's most vulnerable to me?
Ooh. Huh. Probably Miss Horn. You didn't get a clear view of her, but she seemed to be, apart from her mental state and being bundled up in a bunch of clothes, she didn't seem abnormal in any other way. You don't have any reason to suspect that she's anything other than human at the moment, at least.
Are there any dangers here that I haven't noticed?
Well, whatever is behind that door into the wintry landscape, that's something bad. You're absolutely sure of that.
Okay.
And actually, yeah, I think as you're looking down the stairs, I think you see you start going down the stairs, like you're looking around carefully. You look off to the side. You didn't go, like you went off to the right before to go towards the boiler room, now you're looking off towards the left, and you see a blood trail on the floor, like something looks like something bleeding was dragged off to the side there. That seems like there could be something there.
Okay. Well, I think I'll hold the last one.
That seems fair.
And I will follow the blood trail.
Yeah. So you don't see Miss Horn anywhere. You don't hear her. You follow the blood trail, and it's going off to inside a storage area with this like chicken wire thing. It's like shelves with all kinds of detritus on them and piles of stuff off in corners. You see the blood trail go in there through the door, which is now closed and locked with a padlock. You can't see where the blood trail leads, but it goes into this storage area. That's completely dark. There's probably a light switch somewhere, but you're not sure where it is.
Well, if it's only chicken wire, can I see in there?
You can see in, so you can see the shelves and that sort of thing.
I see what's on the floor.
Some of it, yeah, but it's pretty dark in there. There's separate lighting in there, and you're not sure. If you can get the light on, then you can probably see more. Right now, it's like a lot of shadows. But if you're looking for something specific, then yeah, maybe you can see it.
Well, I'm going to have to try and open the door, aren't I? Really? I think. Act under pressure?
Sure.
Four.
Yeah. So I don't think like opening the door is the problem. Because you've done that sort of thing before. You can. The question is, are you willing to break the door to open it? Because I think this is like a wood frame door. So if you're willing to use some force, you can definitely get it open without like opening the padlock.
Yeah, I think I'll wrench it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you use one of the pipes. You can like wedge it in, break the door. It cracks open, and you can now. And it's like the door is you can break like the whatever it's called that the padlock is fastened on. The door is hanging on its side, and that's when you hear like a guttural yell behind you, and this spanner is like smashes into the door frame, and Miss Horn is right behind you, and she's pushing you into this storage room. So you stumble in there, and that's where you are right now. So I think we cut back to Pat. There's at this point there's people rushing around. They're wheeling patients out on gurneys, and
I mean, I assume I'm one of them being wheeled out on a gurney.
Yeah. Nurse Charlie is taking care of you. He has like pushed Dot out the door. And he's bundling you up in blankets and getting you out of there, trying to see to your injuries. So you're outside, and it's fall. It's a bit. There's a chill in the air. Nothing compared to what the chill you
sure.
About.
Yeah.
But you're still like you're bundled up in these blankets, but you still have this deep bone chill in you. The sheriff shows up, and this is, let me check so I don't get the name wrong. It's Sheriff Clark. He's in his 50s, he's got a gray beard, and he shows up, and what in tarnation is going on here? And Dr. Strong is like, she's barely acknowledging him. She's like trying to organize the people getting the patients out and trying to get them to someplace safe. And the sheriff is there and starts asking questions, demanding to know what's going on. And I think we'll leave you there for now. And we'll cut to.
So you know what? Can I actually do a little bit of just a one quick thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is I'm there. Like they bring me some like room temperature water, and they start doing all the things that you do with like hypothermia patients, right? Where you gotta like keep the core. You got to warm the limbs first so that the cold blood in their limbs doesn't go back and shock their heart and stuff like that. So they're doing all that hypothermia care on me, and maybe like they bring me a little like some juice or something like this, and I wave it away and I say no, just water, just water. And as they're treating me, kind of like I lean back and I close my eyes and I start kind of mumbling something to myself. And what I am saying is just kind of repeating this sort of like little fragment over and over again. Nary a bite shall I partake. Righteousness my thirst shall slake. With rectitude I'll bear the mark and bring to heal the hungry dark. Nary a bite shall I partake. Righteousness, and just kind of like repeating that to myself, like clearly it's a mantra that I learned, right? And so that is going to activate my oath move, where I can bind myself to a single goal, forsaking something during my quest, and given the whole like cannibalism thing and the like all the tied like if there's some evil that we need to fight, we don't eat until we've defeated it. And so that's what I wave away the jello that they bring me just sits there squiggling, and I don't eat it, but I take the water that they give me, but nothing else. So that's and with that I'm kicking in that oath thing that I have.
Very cool. I think actually let's go and take our break here and come back on the hour, and then we'll see where Lyle is. Everyone is back. So, Lyle, you step through this door, slam it behind you, and you are standing on a hillside. It's freezing cold. You're knee deep in snow. You don't see any buildings around here. You can see the forest, and the mountains seem to be in the same place as you can recognize the mountains around you. There are no buildings. You don't see any people.
What the fuck? And I imagine like that door boom behind me once as Miss Horn on the other side or something. Like I hold it, pull it shut, and I look around. And do I see any tracks or anything like that? Anything at all?
Yeah, you do see like someone has walked through the snow here, off towards the forest.
I hold the door until it stops thrashing for a moment, and then I like go 1, 2, 3, and I fucking sprint off in that direction, shivering probably as I go in my light sports jacket, because it was, we were in school all day and I wasn't expecting to be outside once it got cold.
And it's not like you were in like the fall. This is midwinter.
Yeah.
So you're trying to run through this knee-deep snow. It's fairly loose snow. It's clearly like been falling while it's been freezing, and you can reach. It seems like when you start to look around, you can see the forest. You can see the lake behind you. It seems like you're in the same spot as where the school was or is, but it's not here, and nothing in the town is here. It's just the empty hillside.
Yeah, I probably realize that as I come to and I see the lake, and I'm like, wait, is that the lake? Wait. Put my thumb up. Like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
And you're used to like always seeing the lights from the prison on the other side of the lake. That's not there.
And even Greyside's not here. That's been here forever. Like, what the? Okay. I follow these tracks. I keep an eye out for anything around me as I look around, glance fearfully back over my shoulder at the door. What's the door set into?
The door, it kind of fades from sight. You can't see it once you're. But when you just left it, it was just out there in the middle of nothing, just standing in the snow.
So when I was pressed against it, holding it shut,
I
leaned and was like, and then leaned around one side of it, leaned around the other side of it, and then was like, but like, come on, Lyle, whatever's going on, it's got to come from here. Got to find out what the hell this is.
So you follow these tracks towards the forest, and it seems like this is roughly the way you were coming from the forest. They seem to be leading towards the same place you were in the forest where Brooke was killed.
I push my way through the snow-covered branches. I come to that clearing. I make my way over to that clearing where Brooke was killed.
You get to the clearing, and in the middle of the clearing, you see a hunched over figure. You see them from behind. They're wearing what seems like very old-fashioned and very old, worn winter clothing. a big coat, like woolen coat, but you can't see much of them. They're like hunched over, kind of tracing their bare hands through the snow. And when this figure lifts one of its hand, you can see that it's a big clawed, almost like a paw, but it's a human hand, but huge and with long claws.
Yeah, so Lyle was like just going like, and he was about to go, and then it lifts its hand up. He goes, and I'd like to, I think I'd like to crouch behind a tree and just try and observe this figure and see if I could learn anything about what it's doing, where it is. Roll the investigator mystery move, I guess. And
absolutely.
Hopefully not get a 1, my first miss, and immediately reveal myself. Oh well, it's about that time to roll a miss. I jinxed myself there.
Yeah.
I have a lot of luck though. I'm going to spend a luck.
Cool. So you get a 10.
Yeah. Which gives me a 2 hold on investigate mystery.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, 2.
Yeah. So, this could be me like observing it through the trees as it moves around, following it a little bit, like, or following it up after it leaves or something and looking at the tracks or whatever, right? But I want to know what sort of creature is this?
I'm not sure you can learn that from what you're observing here, but you will find out what kind of creature it is. You will get that information in short order.
I am happy for you to narrate Lyle creeping around here until we get to those, because I have no other. It's in a big open space with, and I'm a teenager rather than a wizard or something, right? So I can't use my magical sight to gain an insight into everything.
I think this is either you're going to see something or you'll be able to put things together. Maybe not here and now, but you will get the answer.
Yeah, I guess. And what sort of creature is it, and what can it do? I think I can maybe find an answer to here.
Yeah, absolutely. You will find out those things. Not immediately. You're observing it, and it's after a while it gets up, and it looks roughly human. And as you're crouching behind this tree, it turns around. It's walking around in this clearing. And it looks, it has a roughly human shape. It's pretty tall, but not unnaturally tall. It does have those huge claws, like long sinewy arms that don't look fitting for its form. It's wearing clothes, but this big winter coat it had is open, and it doesn't have any clothes on it under that. So it's like bare-chested under this open coat. Its flesh is blackened, like from frostbite or something. But it doesn't look like it's icy in the way you haven't seen Brooks' corpse, but it's not in that way. This is like flesh still.
This looks like those gnarly pictures of the Burton convoy that they have in the library.
Yeah, not at all dissimilar. And in fact, you kind of, when you see its face, you kind of recognize it, like, and its posture, you think you're pretty sure you have seen this person more person-like in one of those pictures. You're not sure who or what, but if you can see those pictures, you're pretty sure that you can pick this person out. And as it starts moving around, it's clearly not bothered by the cold at all, and it starts sniffing in the air, and it's like starts to move in your direction. It's not obvious if it has noticed you, but it's clear that it has noticed that something is amiss here.
I think what would someone in the 80s have in their pockets that could make noise? Today I just say, I put my phone on and play something.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably have firecrackers if you want that, of some kind.
Yeah, could. Yeah, I root through I'm like duck behind that tree, and I root through my various pockets and shit, and I pull out a set of keys that I swiped from wherever, my cigarettes, my lighter. I grab my lighter, I drop my cigarettes, and I'm rooting through my pockets until I pull out a cherry bomb. That's like all crumpled up and from covered in lint and everything. And I go like, oh, man, I hope mom didn't wash this. And I'm gonna throw it as hard as I can, back up against the tree, and then I'm gonna make a break for it, I think.
Yeah, cool. I kind of like you paid your luck for a 10. I think let's put this to a roll.
I mean, that was a soft move that is coming over towards me, and this is a chance for a hard move if I'm running away from it, right? So I'm gonna sprint for it. That bomb, as soon as that bomb goes off, I make a fucking just dash back to the trees.
So act under pressure, probably.
Yeah, sounds about right. That's a 10.
Nice. Yeah. You throw the cherry bomb like on the other side of the. You get a good arm. It goes other side of the glade, goes off, and this person, creature, whatever it is like turns there immediately and rushes off in that direction. You can run back towards the door, and when you get you don't see or hear it following you immediately, but you're not very fast through the snow. And when you get as you follow your trail and this trail you've doubled back on now, when you get closer you can see the door, but you also hear a howling from up in the forest, and you're pretty sure that this creature is going to come after you. It's going to find your tracks.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm imagining that I come out the tree line. I'm like not quite where my trail was. And I'm like, shit, shit. And then I run over to my trail, and then I can't see the door from there. And I'm like, fuck. And as I hear the howl, and I'm running up towards it, and the door sort of shimmers through the mist. I come closer. I'm like, oh god. And I turn over my shoulder, and it's just like this towering black figure, like long claws, just between the tree lines, and another howl. And I just dive for that door handle. Roll through.
And that's when we cut to Joss. So Miss Horn has pushed you into this storage room. It's dark in here. It's chaotic. What do you do?
Fuck you, Horn. I know Defendu. I'm going to kick some ass.
Cool. Do you grab something to hit her with, or are you just going at her hands and feet? What's your...
These are like weapons of steel.
Nice. Cool. Let's have a roll then.
Uh, 6 + 1. Now I am -1 on tough, but Horn is vulnerable, as defined earlier, so I get +1 ongoing.
Nice.
Horn. So that gives me a 7.
Yeah. She's clumsy in these really heavy clothes that she's wearing, so she's not too hard to avoid. But she does have that big spanner. That's going to do 3 harm. And you, I think, with just your bare hands, I'm not sure how much.
1 harm.
That's 1 harm. Yeah, cool. And it's like hard to do anything substantial to her also with those heavy clothes, but you manage to like push her into one of these shelves. A bunch of stuff clatters down on top of her, but she gets you good with that wrench. One solid thwack on the thigh. That's 3 harm for you.
1 harm taken.
Yeah, okay. You have something?
I have 2 things. I've got Strange Danger, which gives me 1 armor.
Nice.
And then Prepared to Defend, which lowers all harm by 1.
Excellent. Cool. Yeah. You know how to like angle yourself to not get the full force of that whack. As she's kind of trying to disentangle herself from this shelf, she's still between you and the door. You hear something moving deeper inside this storage room.
Let's slug her again.
Cool. Are you trying to beat her down, or are you trying to get away?
No. Let's slug it out for a few rounds. Yeah, there's a good chance to farm some XP here.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Oh, excellent. 4.
Yeah.
Another harm?
You take another harm, and she pushes you into the room. Like she hits you, and then she just shoves you into a corner and steps back. And she slams what's left of the door shut and just holds it closed. And that's when you start to feel that it's getting colder in here. Deep, bone-chilling cold. And you hear something moving behind you deeper in the room.
Well, I better read a bad situation, really.
Seems fair.
9.
Yeah, so hold 1.
I've already got 1 left over anyway from the last one. What's the biggest threat?
Right now, it's whatever is in here with you.
Okay. Well, hey, at least I get +1 going on falls on that. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So let's cut over to Pat. You're getting taken care of. You're still in bad shape. but you're starting to like recover a little bit. At least you've been stabilized, and the sheriff comes over to you, and he's.
Can I uncheck a tick or two of harm? What's the where are we at?
Let's uncheck one for now.
Sure, there we go. And I also unticked unstable since it's stabilized. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sheriff is walking over towards you. Charlie kind of gets up in front of him, but they like exchange a few words that you don't quite catch. Charlie steps aside, and the sheriff comes up to you. He's not like aggressive, but he's standing there with like his hands in his side. What's your relationship with the sheriff? He's been sheriff for like 10 years. It's been like all of your like that's pretty much as far as you can remember knowing about the sheriff.
Sure. I kind of like the idea that the sheriff is not part of our sect, right? He doesn't subscribe to worship or anything like that. But like more than once, he's gone to my parents for help, right? With a particularly weird case that he really had trouble solving. And so like I think it's like I think they've got a like, as long as you're helpful, I won't look too closely into what you're doing, kind of thing, right? Like a detente there. He's got other stuff to worry about, but it's, but like there does kind of seem my family's sort of a little bit of a weirdness magnet, right? I think so. So I kind of like the idea that there's a like, he's like he'll work with them, but he's wary of the trouble that they, like it's always a balancing act of like, does, the information I get from them, does it balance out the fact that, weird stuff seems to happen around them? And this is definitely on the, I think probably, on the scale of weird stuff is happening. So, yeah.
So
I kind of like the idea that like, whatever, we've seen each other around town. I'm a good kid, right? So I would have never had a, cause to kind of have like a run-in with him the way that, I don't know, just to randomly pull a name out of the air. Lyle might be on a, on a more intimate basis with the sheriff. I have not ridden in the sheriff's car the way that perhaps Lyle has.
So he's, and you can see that wariness in his look, and so Mr. Burton, I had a gander inside and saw what's left of that thing on the landing. You want to fill me in?
There is something happening, Sheriff. That much is certain. And, I get this kind of very serious set expression to my face. And I say, you have had cause, sir, to come in contact with the hungry dark. This has something to do with the hungry dark. I have pledged to do everything I can to stand against it. I know that you have many, many responsibilities in town, but this is one of those matters on which I know you have consulted with my family in the past.
Yeah. Kind of want to put in a roll here to see.
So you know what? I'm going to, this is where I ask him to, like what I really need is for him to get my parents here so that they can look at what happened.
Yeah.
And like, they're not police officers. They're not,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
and basically I say, if you really want to know what's happened, you know, what happened here, you have to let my parents look at it. And I promise they'll share what they find with you, but you need to let them look at it before your forensics people do.
Yeah. I don't think you need a roll for that. Because
Okay.
that's he's all too happy to do that. Like,
All right.
if this is one of those weird things, the less he doesn't want to know
There we
anything
go.
about it.
Oh,
If
I'm
it
giving him
gets
an out,
handled,
kind of. Yeah.
then that's enough for him.
And this is also where, just for a moment, I'll step out of character and I'll point
Mhm.
out that my sect move
Yeah.
means that when I complete whatever the sect gave me, they'll
Mhm.
come in with information or assistance. And the fact that, like, what I was supposed to do was go look at the body, I've done
Yeah.
that. You know,
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
feels like you know, just kind of not just narratively but mechanically, you know, a place to bring my parents in, and we can
Absolutely.
actually get some information. And I don't know, you know, what you want to make that look like. Maybe let me ask a question off of the investigate a mystery list or something like that. But you know, if you want to have my parents, like, this feels like an opening for one or the other of my parents to show up here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll do that, but I think we will cut back. I
Sure.
think we'll go back to Joss first. So you're in this storage room. Miss Horn is like just leaning against the door to hold it shut. And she was, when she was attacking you, she was like snarling and kind of feral, and now she's almost giggling, like she's not talking, but she's clearly enjoying what she's anticipating something probably horrible happening to you. You feel this deep chill, and you hear something moving deeper inside the room. It's still very dark. There's no, like, there's a light out in the corridor outside, but it barely reaches in here. So are you preparing to fight this thing, whatever it is, or are you trying to get out? What's your plan? You're muted.
Yeah, let's bust out of here.
Cool. I think, like, this chicken wire thing, it doesn't go all the way to the roof. It's like, it's a good 7 feet tall, but there is a gap. So there's definitely a way to get out. If you can climb it or get up on some of the shelves.
Yeah, climb up to some of the shelving and then over the top.
Cool. So this is probably act under pressure, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to use my last read a bad situation hold that I had. What's the best way out?
Yeah, this is the best way out. You can, like, go off. If you go off to the side, then Horn can't see you, so she won't have time to react when you start climbing out.
Excellent. That gives me +1. So roll cool. I have 1 in cool, so that gives me +2. 6, 7, 8.
Nice.
7 and 9. The keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or a price to pay.
Yeah. I think what happens is, like, yeah, you get up, you get over, but the wooden beam up there, it's splintery. The chicken wire is like sticking up half an inch. You cut your hands pretty bad on the as you're going over, and you land and kind of twist your ankle a little bit. So you're going to take, I think, just 1 harm. But you're over, and you hear like scraping footsteps inside the storage room. This bone deep chill, and Miss Horn, when you go over, she notices you, but then she looks inside, and she, like, almost panicked, starts holding the door closed. So now she's clearly more worried about what's in there, and she's kind of snarling at you, but it seems like she doesn't want to let this thing out. So you can take off and get out of there. So let's get back to Lyle. You're back at the door. As you get closer, you can see it. It started snowing. So for a moment you're worried that you're not going to be able to find your tracks back, but they're still pretty deep. You can see them. And
Yeah,
this thing
I mean,
is following you from the forest.
I plow through that door, the same way I plowed through it the first time. But this time I don't try and hold it shut. I just tumble through that door, probably bringing in a load of snow with me. My high top's completely soaked from the snow. And that's probably when I hear Joss running down a corridor further up. And I guess we sort of like run into each other in the thing, in the corridors. And Joss, like grab onto him with like cold, numb hands kind of thing. Frost still all in my like eyebrows and hair. Joss, oh my God, they took your voice.
You are
muted.
So
What the fuck, Lyle? Where the hell have you been?
Man, like fucking Winter Wonderland or something, man. Like, where's Horn? Where's Phelps?
Crazy old crone, man. She's down there fucking around with some storage cupboard. Some nasty shit in there, man.
Some nasty shit coming after me, man. We should get the fuck out of here. Let's get the others.
Yeah, let's break out of here, man.
Yeah. And just run towards where we thought the stairs were. You're muted, Anders.
Thank you. So the storage area where Horn is off on the other side of the stairs. You're pretty close to the stairs now, and you hear scratching on the door that went into the winter thing. Oh, sorry. No, actually, you don't. No, there's You close that door. There's snow on the floor, but there's nothing there right now.
Oh, I mean, I think I left it open as I bundled through. I think I was that.
Oh, you left it open. Yeah, cool.
Push through. Maybe we hear a howl, like
echo
through the. Who knows how far away it is, right? But we book it out of there. I think.
You run towards the stairs, and Lyle, you throw you like glance over your shoulder just as your last chance to look down there, and you see through the door. You assume you can't quite see the door anymore because it's hidden in the boiler room. But through the door comes this thing that you saw, but completely translucent.
Okay.
It's like it was shaped out of wintry wind with snowflakes whirling around it, but it's clearly not fully physical.
Okay. As
shit, man.
It's a fucking zombie ghost or something, man. I don't fucking know. Pat will. Let's go find Pat. He likes this. He knows this weird shit. Yeah.
So you get out of there. I think we'll cut the scene here, and we'll cut to a later point. So Pat, I think the sheriff brings you home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Charlie is going with you to just make sure that you're stable, but then the sheriff takes him back to their stuff to deal with at the hospital. They're starting to bring the patients in again because it seems like the crisis is over. And you're back home, and I think we can have Lyle and Joss show up at your home. You can take
I'm
another
imagining
tip of Harmouth.
I'm imagining as we arrive at the house, right, we see the sheriff's car there, and Lyle grabs Joss and pulls him behind a tree. And then maybe feel free to say no to this one, but I'm imagining as the car drives off with Charlie in the front and the sheriff, you just see Dot's face looking out the back window. In the hospital on Charlie.
That sounds about
absolutely. Right. So, Jim, you can take another tick of Harmouth. I think you recovered a bit more from the freezing.
Cool.
So, what's your home like?
I mean, I think it's probably one of the. I kind of like the idea that it is, probably one of the earlier homes that got built here. So it's probably got like a kind of like a prairie Victorian kind of thing going on, right? It's like big, rambling with like gables and, way too many rooms for the three of us to live in and stuff like that. And, some of those rooms are just filled all the way up with books and stuff like that and everything. And it's, despite how big it is, it feels very full. And it's not like it's not, it's like well maintained. It's everything is, but it's like there's not. It's very lived in. It doesn't have that, kind of like there's no like performative fancy furniture or any of that kind of thing. But I do think that when my mom meets Joss and Lyle at the door, she refers to them as Mr. Gerhardt and Joss, whatever your last name is Plickett. Plickett. Mr. Gerhardt, Mr. Plickett. I'm so glad you're here. Pat can use a friend right now, and whatever, and like kind of walks you through and walks like past my bedroom and, kind of like opens a door that whatever, like if you guys have been to play board games at my house or something like that, like this door was always closed and they open it and inside it's basically a hospital room, like gurney, IV, EKG machine, a tile floor with a drain in the middle of it kind of thing. And, and it's like, I'm set up like, with a monitor on, like I'm in a hospital room, and whatever. And there's like some chairs there and stuff that you can sit next to the bed and stuff. And it's got a, there's like a TV on a wall with an Atari plugged into it. Right. But, she probably like, asked you guys if you would like, some cookies or something like that. And then just kind of shuts the door and leaves you in there with me. Cool. As I suspect how that goes.
Yeah. So, Lyle, what's your family's relationship to the Burtons? They've been here a long time. They're kind of weird, but they're also tied closely to the town.
They're squares, like the academics or whatever. They've got like very little interaction, I would say, with the shady side of the county and Pine Lake and all of that. Mm-hmm. Right? They've already got their own thing going on. And as far as the Gerhardt family are concerned, I think that a couple of professors at the community college don't even register on their radar as somebody who's got anything that they can make money off or who could possibly threaten any of their interests whatsoever, right?
So, Pat, you're been trained to be this like guardian person. Who had that job before you?
I want to say it was a
You did say it was your uncle.
Uncle. It was an uncle.
Oh yeah.
I think my dad's older brother, probably.
Cool. So is he still around and just unable to do it?
He's missing, presumed dead.
Yeah.
He's been missing for several years.
Yeah, cool.
You know, he went off to go on an investigation and didn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't, you know, and I kind of like the idea that that's all I know about it.
Yeah. Cool.
Clearly they know more, but they're you know, we'll tell you when you're ready.
Yeah. And Joss, have you run into anything with your investigations about the Air Force base? Have you run into anything about the Burtons, or do you have any other relationship to the family as such?
No, I think we've moved in very different circles. I don't think there's anything relating them to the Air Force base, is there? No, you know, apart from being friends with Pat, I don't think I've really got anything. You know, I'm quite amazed at this sort of hospital is built into a house. I mean, that's pretty goddamn amazing. Yeah, so this is a slight eye opener then, I think, really, for Joss, as in, you know, what's going on here, you know. And I think I'll say to Pat, you know, thought your mum was just like dead sweet, Pat. I didn't know this kind of shit was going on.
And I kind of look a little nervous, and I say, well, my uncle had some health problems, and so they put this in so that they could help treat him. And so since it's here, we figured, you know, it's better. You recover more quickly at home. That's what they say.
I mean, I just thought it was part of your cult shit, man.
Sorry, what did you say, Will?
I just thought it was part of this cult shit that you're in, man. Like,
like I kind of set my teeth and I say, it's not a cult.
yeah. It's just a family that, you know, is raised to a certain set of beliefs that keeps it extremely private from outsiders, and, you know, raises their son in a particular way to be badass, man. Like, but
yeah, because that's so different than the Gerhardts.
Yeah, you get it.
So I think this is when Pat's mom comes back, and she's got like milk and cookies for everyone, and she looks at Joss's hands, and I think we'd better get you patched up as well. And she brings like a first aid kit sort of thing from one of the shelves in the room, and she like starts cleaning and
he's in full on mother hen kind of like looking after everyone mode.
Yeah, and very, but also clearly knows exactly what she's doing. Like, it's not the first time that she's treated wounds, and she's not like she's very matter of fact about it. It's
yeah, she's not. Oh my God, what happened? She's like, let's get that fixed up. Yeah.
But not asking any questions or anything like that.
Lyle's still completely soaked through, right? Because he wasn't wearing like water.
Yeah.
There, so
she
comes and just pushes a blanket over him and like hands him a hot thingy.
I think she's actually brought you with the once she's patched Joss's hands up, she goes out, and then she comes back with a change of clothes, and she brings out like one, like what do you call it, one of these screens, like not modesty screen, there's a name for it.
Yeah, well, we know what you mean when you say that. Like a little room divider or something.
Yeah.
And thanks, Mrs. Burton. Thanks. And I look down like, you cool with this, Pat? Like, I mean, these look old. These look pretty old. So,
yeah, they're not Pat's clothes, or Pat. These are not your clothes. These are probably your uncle's clothes that were like left over. They've been left somewhere.
All right, I put them. We cut to me having them on, and it's like 3 sizes too big. You know, like if I was like a wiry kid, and your uncle was probably like you, like a jock, like a strapping kind of lie. Like
big guy, yeah. But yeah, so whatever, like corduroys and like a big collar plaid, like earth tone plaid shirt or something like that. Left over from the 70s is probably what this is. Yeah. So
cool. And I guess I don't know. Do we? Because like clearly, like Mrs. Burton's in on this stuff, you know. So like
she doesn't stay in the room. You can talk privately.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if you want to call either of the parents in, you can definitely do that. But
Yeah, did she say something like, "I'll let you boys talk about your business" before she?
Yeah.
Getting the sort of vibe that, like, to the Burton family, like it's important to them that Pat does this stuff as opposed to they
like,
do it for them.
You should catch each other up on how you've spent your day.
Yes.
Like something like that. Yeah.
And I think you have this like old-fashioned like pull a string and a big bell ring somewhere else, so you can like call attention. It's not like a modern.
I've got like the nurse call button, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but the Victorian version.
Oh yeah, a little silk rope from the whatever that I can pull. Yeah, I like that. My mom kind of leaves us there, and I kind of wave the like if you like hand the plate of cookies towards me, I kind of wave it away. And I say, well, there's definitely something strange going on with Brooke, because or whatever it was that took over her body, that's what did this to me.
So they took over.
They had to evacuate. It took nearly everything I had to keep whatever it was from rampaging through the hospital.
Shit, man. I mean, we went down into the basement, and Miss Horn is like
crazy, man.
Crazy. Like, she's working on like the boiler, she's stripping out the pipes and everything, and she's got like a doorway into like
Narnia,
winter.
man.
Well, yeah, it was like here, but like cold, and there was this freaky Puritan guy with like big claws, and then he turned into a ghost when he followed me back through the things, and he looked kind of familiar, man, and like I think maybe he looked kind of a bit like you, man.
It's the hungry dark, Lyle. The hungry dark.
I thought it was aliens.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It just matters that it's a
wormhole, man. They've been opening them.
My family, the reason we're here is to keep it from hurting anyone else. Okay.
Well, I mean, sounds like you've done a pretty good job, man. But I guess like someone's going to have to go back down into that basement, and we're going to have to find out, put an end to this. I mean, like Josh, you said that she locked you in like some sort of storage room. There was something down there.
Oh yeah, there was some sort of other creature.
Shit. So there's like we've got ghost zombie Puritan guy following in Winter Wonderland. We got crazy horn, crazy
janitor.
Yeah, crazy janitor. And then we got something down in the storage area that like she's keeping down there, right? And Phelps.
Oh yeah, man. And she was scared of it, whatever it was.
Yeah. And we saved Phelps. And it sounds like you saved the hospital. And it sounds like Dot's in a shitload of trouble. But like we gotta do something, man. I mean, I don't really know, like I swear that guy looks so familiar. Like, don't suppose all that stuff they've got down at the library about the Burtons? Do you have like copies of that stuff here?
We probably have some things that they don't even have at the library.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to use the Burton family holdings and the parents perhaps to provide the context to the things that I saw.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the basement,
I think this is like the information we can tie this to the sect thing, and I think I'm not going to play all this out. I'm just going to tell you.
This is a montage of us.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So
Josh drawing pictures of UFOs on a whiteboard above us all, like as we go.
Well, this is the 80s, so it would be a no kidding like chalkboard, like a blackboard.
Yeah.
Chalking stuff onto, yeah.
There were whiteboards in the 80s, but they were not common.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, my teacher in grade school, like 4th to 6th grade, we had a whiteboard because she was allergic or something, or had some asthma.
Oh, sure.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
the
it was.
chalk dust or something. Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not important.
My parents would have a chalkboard.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you a story about chalkboards later if I remember. It's not important, but it's yeah. Cool. So the information you get, like I think your dad brings you some books and some papers that relate to this as you're talking, and you Lyle, you find some pictures that are from the Burton. What did we call it? The Burton expedition?
Burton convoy.
Burton convoy. Yeah.
Some daguerreotypes.
Yeah. And you
maybe sketches or something like that.
Yeah. There is a picture of the Burton family as they are like setting out. They're standing like in front of one of the wagons, and you definitely recognize this figure. This is Theodore Burton, and he was, according to the papers and such, he was the younger son of the Burton family. He's tall and gangly, just like you saw him, but he doesn't. He has those long arms that you saw. Not obviously not the claws, but still like those big hands. You recognize his face, and you recognize his coat, the winter coat that he was wearing. And so that's definitely him. And the I think that's it. What you can also, by like looking in the old books and such, you do know that clearly his physical body is, from what you saw and all of that, his physical body is tied to that place. So that's when he was like ghost-like when he came out. You think so? That was what sort of creature is it? It is some kind of ghost or spirit. It's possible that it can possess people. That seems like a thing that fits with other. You can find in the old Burton books information about people who have been possessed by ghosts who behave similar to how Horn is behaving now. She's not talking, but she's clearly emoting. She's very like feral and like primitive in her emotions and all of that, and malevolent in a way that people who have been possessed by these creatures have been. I think that answers that's your belated answer to the what kind of creature is it. And the information you get from your sect, I need to look.
Pat's interest is how do we hurt it?
Yeah.
That's what Pat wants to know. Yeah.
My two questions were what kind of creature is it and what can it do?
And I think
established that it's we don't know what that other world is. It could be time travel, or it could be like a spectral plane or whatever, right? But like somehow the spirit of Theodore Burton, transformed by this hungry dark that the Burtons keep talking about, is able to reach into our realm, and has affected Horn at least, and that it's also able to reanimate the bodies of its victims, I suppose, is the
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that seems to be the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And I think that's enough to answer both of my questions, make sense of them all, give us something to go off. Yeah.
Sorry. Jim, Pat was interested in how to hurt it. Yeah. It's clearly like the way Horn is acting, it seems like, yeah, she's trying to make sure you can't heat the school. The school is where the door is. So it seems like it's worried about the heat. It probably doesn't like that. So that's probably something. And from what you can find out, it seems like unless it's possessing someone, it can't really do anything in the regular world. However, whatever it can do in the beyond the door, that's unclear. But in here, it can't do anything unless it's possessing someone. I think you also find out that it can't. From the stories you puzzle together about these possessions, it seems like it can't possess the same person twice. So if it has possessed someone, it has to have someone new. And it can't just grab someone whenever it wants. They need to be vulnerable and exposed, or like in some way. So possibly that's what it's either like Miss Phelps. Maybe she was there to be possessed. Maybe she was there to be eaten by this thing, or whatever. I'm unclear, but it's possible that that's what that was related to.
Do we know if it can possess multiple people?
You don't think so. Probably just one person at a time.
So if it was in Horn, then it's also able to exist somewhere on the other simultaneously on the other side of that door. And
it's unclear if it was in Horn when you saw her. It could be that she had been possessed, it had released her, but she was still damaged by having been possessed.
Yeah, either Horn is possessed or there's some sort of lingering after effect to it that turns him into a minion or something. Who knows? Well, heat? Fire? Anyone got a flamethrower? No? I don't think like a lighter and some deodorant is going to do the job.
And this is where I sigh and, kind of like roll out of my bed and, taking the IV drip that I've got in my arm along with me, walk them down the hall to another one of those rooms that the door has always been locked on, right? When you guys have come to my house. And I unlock the door, and there's and it easily slides open, kind of opens, and in the room, it's got the maybe we go downstairs into the basement for this one, and open the doors, and that's the dummy with a suit of chainmail on it, half a dozen 8-10 swords along this wall, axes and maces along the other wall. Crossbow, longbow, like archery targets, like a kung fu dummy, all set up in this one room. And I kind of like look around at it and I shrug and I say, no flamethrower. But I walk over to the crossbow and I kind of grab it and heft it and then take a bolt and kind of stare at it and say, but you can set these on fire pretty easily.
Okay. And maybe we could get like torches, man. Like Frankenstein. Like we can, burning torches.
And I kind of make a face and I say, I kind of make a face and I say, you're a Gerhardt. Surely you can find us road flares somewhere.
Oh yeah, I can find us road flares. I can find us some good stuff. I need your phone.
Yeah, and I, whatever. It's upstairs on the wall in the kitchen, right?
Yeah. And then we see Lyle get lost going from
Yes,
the door. Yeah. But I will be heading off to make a call to my cousin to get some.
And I think you see Pat's dad like looking in on you, and I imagine he has like a pipe and like a sweater
100%.
vest, and he just kind of looks in on you, not saying anything, just making sure that you know that you've got eyes on you. Is like, yeah, you're Pat's friend, but you're also a Gerhard, and just making sure.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I would probably be like, so what do you think about the strange, crazy ghost zombie monster that's possessing people and,
Yeah, Pat, what do you think? What do you think your dad would say to that? Do you think he would like leave that to you, or would he like engage in that sort of discussion?
So my dad is a history professor, and I think like everywhere that my mom is like succinct, matter of fact, kind of like very kind of task oriented, like any question you ask him is basically you are requesting a lecture from him, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that's like, like what do you think of this? I'm glad you asked. Well, according to the local legend, the very first instance of such a thing was in, 1852, when the very first convoy came through. Now, of course, many of these stories are considered apocryphal, but in the first, this person says this about, and so like any like opening to him is, he like that's the kind of nerd he is, right?
Yeah.
And he's like very happy and enthusiastic to share it with you and stuff, but like unless you're like, I gotta go, he will talk your ear off on it.
And of course, stories of possession go back thousands of years.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah.
And then at the end of it, I'm like, so what I'm saying, Mr. Bird, is like, should we call the cops or something?
The sheriff has requested our assistance with this matter. I think he would be all too happy to stay out of it, if possible.
Well, shit. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna make a call now. And let me remember.
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, and I will ring up my cousin. What was his name? I've got him in the portraits. Gerhardt's. My cousin Jake. Jake, yo, you still got like those cans of gas and the road flares and that gun?
Sure, got them for. Yeah, I got gas and flares for the truck, but not sure your dad would be too happy about me getting you a gun, but if you need it, sure.
I mean, my dad's... Anyway, we just want to go into the woods and like, make some shit explode by shooting at it, right? That's pretty cool. I can't believe you told me held out on me like that, man.
I'm not going to tell on you. Just if he asks, I'll tell you what stuff I gave you. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, just to remember, it's a detail to remember. Like,
yeah,
his dad, Lyle's dad, is the one that went missing.
Yeah.
Maybe my uncle, who's like, Lyle and his mom are like out of the family business properly, because we don't know what happened to Bryce, kind of thing. But yeah. But yeah. But anyway, I will have that extremely open conversation about criminal activity with Mr. Burton puffing his pipe and looking approvingly on, and Lyle will just be like, so fucking weird, as he puts down the phone.
Yeah, I think Pat's dad has like retreated to a room across the hall with the door open, and you can kind of see his slippered feet as he's sitting in a chair there. So he knows that you can see him, but he's not like constantly watching you.
Yeah. Do we want to meet my cousin at our boathouse and use our workshop to do some like monster hunting prep stuff? I don't know if Josh has anything that he wants to do in the Burton family house.
No.
Nope. Then over to the boathouse. We could say, one of our new individual vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would kind of make sense to be the Burton one, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
the individual vehicles.
Yeah.
They can't take multiple people.
But no, individual bit. So
individual means individual. I have a car though.
No, you have a car. Well,
you have a car. Okay. Yeah, I think they meant to be sort of like bike or motorbike sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we have our motorbikes stored up at the boathouse when you drive us over there, right? Perfect. Maybe they're like off-road motorbikes, you know,
dirt bikes.
Motocross.
Yeah. Because we live in places surrounded by
right? Completely makes sense around here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a redneck thing around here. It's a practical thing around here.
Yeah. Dirt bikes are a redneck thing. I didn't know that.
I mean, in the U.S., that's kind of a hick thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, whatever. They're a rural thing.
Well, I was just thinking of the British equivalent over here, and I would be like, it's kind of a chavvy thing over here, actually. But yeah, the boathouse. And I think, my cousin has just left a bunch of this shit out here, right? Like, just in front of the door, there's just like cans of gasoline and a few cans of gasoline, and then like a box of road flares. And we open up the thing, and I guess we should get, we should get ready, guys. Like, what do you reckon? Like, we make some wrap some rags and shit around these like bits of wood. Molotov. Oh man, you're speaking my language, Joss. I like it. You know what we need? And I lean over and I turn up the radio. And some banging 80s metal music or hair metal music comes out.
I mean, unless somebody wants to take the alternate weird move, weird science.
That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Let's have it, because I never really thought about that in context of using the workshop, Otherwise, I'd probably say that this is just as like making temporary, like torch, one harm, fire kind of shit. But why am I looking on here when I've actually got the PDFs on my actual computer? I could remove a whole separate step of this. I'm the one who shared.
Yeah, I think I don't think you need like if you're doing Molotovs and that sort of thing. I don't think that's something we need to get too mechanical about. It's just you can make those, you can have them. Same with a can of gas that you can stick a rag in and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
weird science will allow you to adapt a device to analyze or deal with strangeness.
I think that's maybe like for like a step beyond kind of like household, like improvised, what we can not, like what we're talking about is something that
but it will allow us to seal the door.
Oh, seal the door. Interesting. Yeah.
It's clearly it must be a level above just making some Molotovs, because the requirements are horrendous. Even on a 10 plus, it's still quite hard. So its effect must be large.
Yeah,
it's magic.
Yeah, well, we have two of us have access to these magic move, and also my plan is to burn down the school. I think we'll solve our problem in it. cinematic way. I'm not going to take the weird science move, I guess, is what I'm really saying, because I actually do kind of want to play around with the use magic as a very like thing to grow into over time, and like this amulet that he has, maybe like letting him do some stuff. But so far, it hasn't really fit the fiction. But yeah, Jim, I imagine you don't want to take the weird science move, or do you? No. So
No, that doesn't seem like something that's not really in my wheelhouse.
I'm afraid. Then I don't think that's going to be.
Let's roll in there and kick some ass then.
Yeah. Just while I remember it, I think it would be cool to maybe have some of those alternative weird moves as just like moves that you could take from the choose a move from another playbook options.
Absolutely. I'm perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, but anyway, back into the fiction. Montage of us making stuff. Bandanas tied around our heads. Joss telling us about how he's made Molotov, like read how to make Molotov cocktails off BB forums.
Just to jump out for a moment again, I think we have a bit less than an hour left. I want to leave some time for stars and wishes. And I'd like, I don't think we're going to finish this mystery today. And I'd like Puckett to be here for the big finish. But I think if there's anything more we want to do before we get to storming Narnia, I think we should probably do that now.
Lyle digs under a loose floorboard in the boathouse when no one's looking and pulls out the 38 that he's been hiding there.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the things that, when we, are leaving the house, I grab I have like an attaché case, like one of those steel-sided, it's the 80s, so it looked like a regular business attaché case. And, you pop it open, and on the inside, it's got like foam inserts, right? And that's the crossbow collapses, goes in there, with some arrows and stuff like that, and then snap it shut with the latches on the side. And that's how I'm carrying my crossbow around, is in that attaché case. I've got my, people, like, one of the things about being on the fencing team is that you can carry a sword around school, or like a thing that clearly has a sword in it, and people get used to it, and nobody so I've got my bag that ostensibly, that has my fencing saber in it, and that's I literally can carry a sword around school. But there's one sword I use for practice and one sword I use when we're going on something like this, and I put the other, the one with the edge is going in the case for this, so we can do my whole whatever loading up montage and stuff.
So Pat, when you're leaving the house, how does your parents treat how do your parents treat that? Because you're going off, you're clearly going to face something dangerous. This is probably like the most serious such thing that you've been away for.
I think I think one of the things is that there's a subtle thing that happens earlier where she brought the plate of cookies in and offered it to them, and then she brought it around to me, and I just met her eye, and I just shook my head, and she nodded because she knew what that meant. We didn't need to say it, but the fact that I've done that, she's like, okay. And then clearly she went and talked to Dad about it, right? And the two of them are like when I'm getting ready to go, they're, my mom says, be careful. My mom says, be careful. My dad says, be smart. And you know, and they basically both say, hopefully we see you later tonight. And then they let me go.
Very cool.
And I think that my mom saying be careful and my dad saying be smart is a thing that's like those are kind of like their taglines that are going to be like, you know, for the rest of the rest of our show here. But that's very clearly the thing that we have, that's them giving me their blessing to go do my thing that I need to do. Yeah.
Cool. Joss, do you think there's anything your various contacts can help you with here?
I can't engage in combat.
But is there, because I don't know how your moves work? Is there anything like any kind of other type of support they can provide?
No, the sort of network just sets them up. There's no sort of move you can do once they're in play.
Okay.
I mean, is there anything we think we could get from them?
I think we already established that you've got blueprints for the basement from
I carry. Yeah, I've got blueprints. Yeah.
I think that's enough, really. Like, you know, that's the sort of thing that I think would help us out, but we already invoked that earlier, so we've already set that up in the fiction that we know the layout of the basement.
Well, plus we have been down there.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know. No, I'm good to go and kick some ass.
Cool. Is there anything more you want to do before we get to that? Because like I said, I think otherwise we're going to cut this session a bit short.
Personally, I would say that like the end of us all kitted out, you know, like in the boathouse, like maybe with like some scorch marks on one side of the wall where something's been tested or used badly, we're just like as
some appropriate clothing, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, some winter gear. Yeah, some like you know, some parkas and balaclavas and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hats with tassels on them.
Yeah. Cool.
This was the TV show with our motocross bikes. Like, you know, we stand like battling with all of that stuff. The motocross bikes right next to us. As the song reaches its crescendo and then cuts next time.
And I kind of love that it's that thing where it cuts to like close-ups of us clearly against like, you know, something projected behind us. And then in the far shot, it's three people on a motorbike, like who all clearly are like different heights and, you know, like the, you know, not great stuntmen to replace us because it's an 80s show, but
or 40-year-old men on a bike. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, nice. It's at this point, I think we're close to midnight. It's been a long day, but you've gathered your stuff. You know what you think you know what you're doing. We'll pick that up again next week.
Perfect.
Cool. So I think we can go straight into Stars and Wishes, and then we'll just skip.
Should we do XP?
Yeah, we should do a session.
Absolutely. We'll do XP first. So I think someone has the questions, maybe?
Yes, I have the questions. Questions are, did we conclude the current mystery? Nope. Did we save someone from certain death or worse? Yes.
Yeah, sure did.
Did we learn something new and important about the world? Yes, 100%. We learned that there's a to the days of the Burton convoy, obviously.
Yeah.
Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
Yeah, absolutely.
The secret hospital.
Yeah,
secret
hospital. Got a little look inside the very strange Burton house. Yeah.
So that's 2 experience for us all.
3.
I think that's 3, right?
You can only mark 2 experience for the end of session move.
Didn't realize that.
makes
I
that
didn't
nice
realize
and
that.
easy.
Oh, okay.
I think is it 1 if you answer 1 or 2 of the question, yes, and 3 or 2 if you answer 3 or more.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. I remember that now. Thank you.
But we should also look at the team question, right?
And
Did
we
we
did.
learn something new about the supernatural world? Yes.
100%. Yeah. And I'm 1 away from my first improvement.
There we go.
So, yeah.
I am 1 away from my second improvement.
Yeah. When I rolled that myth before, I was like, I could.
Some of us rolled very poorly in the first session.
Yeah. It seemed like a perfect place to learn a lot and a bad place to get a 1.
Has somebody added the XP to the team one?
Yes. Cool. So yeah, that's XP. So stars and wishes. Let's start with Paul.
Yeah, I really loved the Burton household. I thought that was really well described there, Jim, and quite innovative. I didn't expect to see that there. And Will, I really liked the sort of the use of the move to get into Narnia. I thought that was nice, and that instantly opened up a lot more there. Yeah, and enjoyable, Andish. So very good.
Cool. Thank you. Any wishes?
No, not really. No, that's good.
Cool. Thank you. Will.
Starter letting me frame it as that, because I was like, there's a doorway into Narnia, but we're playing, 17-year-old kids who are in over their heads, and it makes. I was really hoping for that 7-9 result when I rolled that move, because I really wanted to get some excuse for Narnia to be the only place to go. So I'm glad that was a thing that we were all cool with doing as a table. And again, with all of it, describing the house, with the family interactions, with like the basement, and like how we described our story to each other. Like I enjoyed like feeling like all those characters were part of it and our own sort of building the world of it all. And I've got my characterization in my head of Mrs. Horn is based mostly on like Joss's like immediate dislike of her, like and creepy Horn. And that sketched out that character perfectly, even before she became possessed by a carnivorous spirit. And yeah, wishes, I suppose my long-term one is to try and tie whatever we learn from this Burton convoy ghost possession stuff into the Pale Man, which is where I think it's going anyways. But, and yeah, I'm looking forward to us having our first, team take on the monster rather than the running into it at inopportune moments as you stumble into the danger of an investigation. This is the finale, right? Like this is the, I guess I do have a wish, which would be perhaps for the start of next session to be how Dot escapes from her being grounded or whatever by her dad or from the cop car or whatever, because we're needed, sneaks out of a window or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was my plan. So
yeah, but I can't think of anything more 80s than that scene.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, a few things that I took note of. This was just a fun session. These early sessions are fun because we're kind of world building as we go. Pardon me. One of the things I like is that, like, I feel like, and I felt this in the first session too, but absolutely this time with you guys, Paul and Will, very much that we're pretty good at calibrating, like not going too deep down the lore rabbit holes that it derails the action. Like I think everybody, like you guys are both real good at like, let me drop this little bit in there, but we're going to keep going, keep the story rolling and stuff like that. Because sometimes, especially in the early days of these things, it can get bogged down in that. And I haven't been feeling that like we've been stalling out or needing to like nudge it or anything. And Anders, that's credit to you as well for keeping things moving. And in particular, I like the because this is a thing that as a GM, as much as I've GM'd, it's like, the thing that I have trouble with, which is the advice to like cut the scene before it's over, right? And you're really good at that, at not letting things run on. And I especially felt that today. Anytime there was that lull, you're like, okay, so we're going to cut away and move to the next thing. And I think you've been doing really well with that so far. It's really like I have not gotten bored watching other people's scenes because we're kind of rolling through stuff, and I really like that. One of the things that I made a note about the game itself is that this is like one of the very first PBTA games that came out. And there are aspects of it that can be a little clunky, or that, are very clearly like, okay, this is early PBTA tech and stuff like this. But I do like one of the things that Will pointed out. I noticed this, which is sometimes you ask an answer for read a situation and the answer is incredibly obvious. Like it's not an answer you really needed to roll to find out. But the fact that they give you that +1 forward means it's still worth making the roll and engaging with the mechanics, because you want to get that, even if it's clear, yeah, the problem here is that, they're bleeding out the neck, you still want to get that +1 forward. And so it still makes sense to roll and engage with the mechanics, even when the answer is obvious. I hadn't noticed that before, and I noticed it today, and it's just something I wanted to call out. I really like that. And also that we're on top of the mechanics and keeping it, and kind of offering each other reasons to engage with them. And I really appreciate that, Will, that you called that out. That was cool. Paul, one of the things, like Joss is like, this was an episode where Joss was kind of mostly reacting to stuff, but I did notice that he 100% was on board with helping somebody else that was like going through a thing that was, reminiscent of what he went through. Like,
you've got to save the innocent, mate.
Exactly. And that's very clearly, whatever kind of reflects back on what he went through. And he, the idea, like, where, he hasn't kind of come out and said, I'm here to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone ever again. Right. But through his actions, that is very clearly one of the driving forces behind him. And I love that we saw some of that very clearly today, that he was like, Lyle, you okay? And Lyle's like, go. And you're like, yep, I'm going. I'm helping. I'm protecting this person here. And so we got to see a little bit more into Joss's kind of personality there with that. And I really like that. Will, I love the way that you are building up the Gerhardts, and they're kind of, the way that they've got their like tendrils all through the whole town and stuff like that. And, oh yeah, I can call a cousin. Just the idea that you're going to have like 100 cousins, all of whom may or may not be actual cousins, right? Is, like it's as much a term of art as, as it is an actual family designator. I think we're starting to get a hint of that. And I think the other thing that we've got that's interesting is we talked about, and I love this, that you're cueing us, Anders, for like, what are your relationships between, how does your family get along with their family? And, what does the sheriff think of you and stuff like that? And stuff that I wouldn't necessarily think of, but that being prompted on, oh yeah, and I love the idea that like, this is Lyle as a Gerhardt becoming aware of what's going on at the Burtons, in a way that, like you said, they're like no reason to be on the Gerhardt's radar until now. And to some extent, the Gerhardts didn't really have a reason to be on the Burtons' radar until now.
I mean, I would live over the long term.
Oh yeah,
thing, yeah, for sure.
And that's one of my wishes is for those kind of larger relationships to have a bearing on, to bring some pressure to bear on, whether, how close friends we can be. Do we need to like sneak around behind our family's back to hang out with each other, and stuff? I mean, it doesn't need to be whatever Romeo and Juliet or whatever, but certainly, like our family's not getting along, and we've got,
Well, I imagine the Gerhardts are going to make great dupes for some supernatural force or something. Like the Gerhardts themselves could be like, what? There's a group of people bringing weapons and everything into the town, and like secret communiques, and have a deal with the sheriff. Like,
yes,
yeah, the sheriff. Like,
yes,
that's not
yeah,
right. Like, yeah,
exactly. exactly. And so that's one of, I mean, one of my wishes is to see that happen. And the other is to point the spotlight at Joss a little bit, because we haven't really seen Joss's home life or what's going on with his family or what kind of support he does or doesn't get for having been through this. And I really do want to make sure that we don't, Paul, that we don't let you off the hook on that entirely. So looking forward to finding out more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't used the ally at all for the team, or really even team move.
Yeah. I used the team move in the school, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you did, but yeah, we haven't used the ally really at all. So maybe try and get that in there.
And that's it for me. Yeah, thanks.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, most of the things I thought about has already been mentioned. And I just want to build a little bit on what Jim said about Joss. And I think that's like, because Joss is an obsessive, and if not delusional, then at least like appears delusional to other people. And I think that strong instinct to protect people is a really good trait to like balance that out a bit and make like have something strongly sympathetic. So I think like that, like the instinct to go for that, I think that's really strong. That's good.
Yeah, we'll try and get some more of the CD video store. Well, not more of, as in some of that in, because we haven't really had that.
Yeah, we should definitely get to that as well. I also would like to see more of Joss and his connection to the town and the people around here. Hopefully we'll get to some of that next session, or at the very least, I think we will. We can get to that when we go to our time skip and see some of that. And that yeah. So
just we're off to fight the monster, right? Like now, I don't imagine that taking the full session. So maybe we could do like some, like rather than like just the epilogue stuff that we normally do, we could do like like the days afterwards in like the town and like scenes in the video store and stuff like that. We'll see where we end up at the thing, right?
Yeah.
But,
I think depending on how long this final confrontation takes, I think we can we'll do some of the immediate aftermath and then like fade that into the longer.
And then we could maybe also do like some investigate a mystery in like broader terms.
Absolutely.
Than the current mystery, like the season mystery stuff, that kind of thing. But yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. There were a couple of things there. Yeah, and one of them is to already now perhaps start and you've probably already done this, but think a bit about like, what's in 4 or 5 years, where are your characters then? With other things that's going on, you'll definitely be out of high school, I assume. But like, what's your where do you think you'll end up in the town? And the other thing is that I need to look at the harm a bit. I wanted to push fairly hard on how dangerous the fights were that you were in, but that also means that some of you, at least especially Pat, is pretty beat up. And I need to, and I'll happily take some advice on how that's like, how does that usually work here? Because I'm not sure how quickly people recover and that sort of thing.
One harm for a scene that you're not in, full health by the start of the next mystery. For a scene that you're not fighting in, basically, that you recover 1 health.
And there are some moves that people can take that allow you to heal additional harm depending on on what you're doing. Yeah.
It's the classic. You can only heal 1 wound in 1 way. Like you can't, like if you heal someone, you don't completely. shot or
Yeah,
whatever,
we
right?
can't just do a first aid, first aid, first aid,
Yeah,
first
exactly,
aid. Yeah.
And I think the other thing is that when the keeper agenda for like dealing harm, there's like 0 harm can be like stun or whatever, right? Like 1 harm can be like knock something out of your hand. 2 harm could be like send you flying, and 3 harm could be like knock you out in like, you take 3 harm and you're knocked out by it, to open up your minion and monster moves of like get away or whatever, right? Because that's the fiction, right? Is that you fight the monster and then it pisses off for half the TV show until they have the budget left over to do the actual fight kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So I think I'll just have a look at it, but I think you can. I want to say right now that Joss would recover 1 harm from being patched up by Mrs. Burton, and I think Pat should have think 2 harm. You get two.
The heal moves are usually heal 2 harm, I believe.
Cool. So let's take 2 harm off, total 2 harm off of Joss and of Pat. Joss for both of you for being cared for by Mrs. Burton. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's medic heal 2. So all of the heal moves are basically the same as professional's medic, and it's all like you can heal up to 2, make it worse, blah blah blah. Like stabilize, etc. Yeah.
More. I got sidetracked here by all of the other stuff. I really appreciate the way you add to the lore, and you're willing to take ownership of your characters and the setting, and because for me that helps me feel invested, that I'm not the one coming up with everything, but that I get some surprises as well, and that's really enjoyable for me. And I do. Yeah, now I'm. It's tricky with. It's a bit. I'm getting a bit tired, and this is second language things. So hopefully I'll express this clearly. I do like when you add to the description of what's going on and all of that. If I jump in and interrupt, it's because I have a clear idea of this is how that's supposed to go. So it's not because I don't like when you do that, or that I don't like adding. It's just just to be clear about that. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed. I particularly enjoy your interactions between the characters. I think you have very clear ideas about who your characters are, which makes it fun to see them interact with each other, because you know what's going on with them and how they would relate to each other, and that's really enjoyable for me to see as an outside observer of that part. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it. So hopefully we'll all be here next week. Otherwise, I guess Dot is grounded and doesn't manage to sneak out. I hope everyone will be here. Take care and
see you guys.
Bye.